For those of you who call me out and say my bet isn't made, okay, look, I just made it, so it's great. Okay, so the Buccaneers draft has just concluded earlier today. It is currently 10:16 p.m. when I'm recording. This will be going up tonight as well. And quite honestly, the Bucs had a very, very good draft. So hey guys, what's going on? James here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the entirety of the Bucs 2018 draft. There were many trades. There was a couple of steals there in my opinion, and overall I thought it was just a very good draft. So let's talk about it. It all started with the first round pick, number 7. The Buccaneers selected nobody because they traded down with the Buffalo Bills, gaining pick 12 and 2 second rounders. They gained the 21st pick in the second round as well as the 24th pick, and we will be getting to those later. After that, the Buccaneers then had pick 12 and they had selected Vita Vea, defensive tackle. Now, I personally like this pick a lot. I like it a lot, and here's why. We needed defensive depth in the worst way. Just overall, our defensive line last year was, in one word, atrocious. And this kid has heart. And the fact that we got him with a trade down as well, gaining 2 second-round picks, that's a phenomenal move in my opinion. Now, I'm going to be giving a grade at the end of the draft of all of the overall grade, I guess you could say. But for this pick here, I'm going to give it a B+. I'm going to give this move a B+. Because the trade down was phenomenal. And the fact that we got such a monster, I think he weighs 347 pounds, he's 6'4", I believe. He runs a 5'1", 40-yard dash. That's pretty darn impressive for a guy who weighs 347 pounds. I love this move a lot. I think he will be a wonderful addition next to Gerald McCoy. We're kind of going with a very deeper rotation. I think the reason I hated rotations so much, and I still do, one of the main reasons I hated him so much is it never worked. It never worked last year. I mean, we could rotate anybody in and it would just suck. This year, rotations are a bit different. I think Jason might realize, hey, wow, you know, to have good rotations, you kind of need good depth. So Jason Light went out and he got very good depth. You now have Vita Vea, you now have Jared McCoy, you now have Vinny Curry, and you now have Jason Pierre-Paul as your starting defensive lineman. In terms of rotating guys in, you have Noah Spence, you have William Golston, you have Mitch Unrein, and you have Bo Allen, guys who you can rotate in as well. That is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. I think that the defensive line improved, and just the defense in general improved in a humongous way, and it all started with Vita Vea. B+ move for me. Actually, you know, I'll mess around. I'll give it an A-. I'll mess around. I'll give it an A-. I loved the move that much, especially with the trade down. Come on, you can't beat that. But moving on to the Buccaneers' first second-round pick, they had 3, and they selected Ronald Jones with the 6th pick in the second round. No Darius Geis, and I want to keep in mind for the last round, no Derwin James as well. So this was kind of a draft of surprises. So Ronald Jones was selected instead of Darius Geis. Now, Ronald Jones does have some injury issues, what people have said. Honestly, I'm not worried about it, and that's why I'm going to give this move a B+ as well, another high grade. I think he can be a 3-down back, and a lot of people have compared him to Jamal Charles just because of how amazing he is in open space. They say if he gets into open space, there's no way you're going to catch him. He's just that elusive. And I think it adds a different element to the Bucs backfield that we have not seen since what you guys have pointed out as work done in Cadillac Williams. And that is having a speedy, more elusive back rather than a power kind of short power back. You know, we had that with Doug Martin, and a lot of people thought we were going to have that with Darius Geis. The Buccaneers decided to go in a different direction. We even had a little bit at the end with Peyton Barber as well, and I like this change. I think this is kind of a change that the backfield needed. I think this guy is going to be the back that what they were hoping Charles Sims was going to be. Unfortunately, Charles Sims didn't work out. He's still on the team though, yay! So I think that Ronald Jones is going to be a very, very good pick, and I do think he will be able to stay healthy, and I think he will have a very productive career. Look for him, even if you're playing fantasy football, like, look for Ronald Jones. I have that much confidence in the guy. I think he's going to be very good. He's going to be very good. He's going to be a very good runner, very elusive, like I said. He's very good at getting into the tiniest of holes, and we'll get to a pick later that will definitely help him out. And I think that our offensive line can handle it, and our offensive line has improved a lot, so I think Ronald Jones will benefit from that. Moving on, though, to the first pick that the Bucs acquired from the Buffalo Bills trade, and they used it on MJ Stewart, cornerback. And this pick is really interesting to me, and I like it. I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a solid B to a B minus probably, and here's why. We needed cornerback help. I'll mess around, I'll give it a B. We needed cornerback help. There was some guys on the board, like Isaiah Oliver and like a couple of other guys who would have been interesting. But a lot of people are saying that MJ Stewart was the best slot corner in this draft. One of the best, if not the best. He's very versatile, he can play safety, but honestly I think he will be a prime candidate to compete with Vernon Hargreaves for that slot nickel cornerback role. That's going to be an interesting battle, guys. If I make a video talking about training camp battles, you are going to hear me talking a lot about the Vernon Hargreaves versus MJ Stewart battle, because that is a former first round pick versus a former second round pick. You gotta love it. That's going to be an awesome battle. Whoever wins and whoever ends up being our fourth cornerback, that's still really good depth. That's still really good depth. If MJ Stewart ends up being our fourth cornerback, we have a second round pick as our fourth corner. That's heavy investment in my opinion. And if Vernon Hargreaves ends up being our fourth corner, that's a former first round pick as our fourth cornerback. Again, heavy investment. So I like this pick. I do think that he will be a very productive slot corner. He has the size for it. He has good ball skills. He's just an all-around pretty good cornerback. So again, I give it a B. Moving on to pick 24, the Buccaneers trade down again. They traded down with the New England Patriots. They gained the 31st pick in the second round, and they also gained another fourth rounder, which was the, they gained the, I can't remember the pick, but they gained another fourth rounder as well, which we will get to later. So, a few picks happen. Isaiah Oliver goes off the board. Dante Jackson goes off the board. And we get to the Buccaneers pick. The 31st pick in the second round, the Buccaneers selected cornerback Carlton Davis out of Auburn. I love this pick. B+. I almost give it an A-. I'll give it a B+. I love this pick. I love it. I thought the Bucs had a great draft up to this point, and it did get better. At this point, I was like, dude, I don't even want, like, I don't even need anything else to be happy. Because I said, coming into this draft, I said to myself, okay, the Bucs need to invest a couple of picks at cornerback at least, and I expected them to get one early on, and I expected them to get one later. They invested 2 second rounders into cornerbacks. That's freaking amazing to me. That's amazing, and Carlton Davis has the potential to be a #1 cornerback in the future. He's got the height. He's 6'1". He's, I think, 200-some pounds. He's a guy who strikes me more as a potential #1 corner, rather than Vernon Hargreaves and MJ Stewart. I think that they will be phenomenal cornerbacks, and I think that they can eventually grow into maybe a #2 or a slot corner, or be very productive in the slot, or be productive in #2. But I feel Carlton Davis has the edge and just the size and the ability to be a #1 corner. He reminds me a lot of Aqib Talib when he was still on the team. And I have a lot of confidence in Carlton Davis. I think he will start off as the #2 corner right away, and I think he will have a very productive season. And I think this is honestly a sleeper. Another sleeper pick for me, because I did not expect him to be at pick 31. I honestly thought we had a chance of taking him at 21, but we got him at 31 here, and we also gained an extra 4th and 6th rounder. Or no, we gained an extra 4th rounder to do it. So I loved all the trading that Jason Light did. I loved all the trading of it. I thought that he had a phenomenal time moving around in the draft, and he was still getting some very, very quality players. So moving on then to the 3rd round, the Buccaneers traded up. Remember how I said we would get to that 4th round pick later? Well, here's where it comes into play. The Buccaneers used a 4th and a 6th rounder to trade up to select Alex Kappa, 94th overall, from the Minnesota Vikings, is who we got that pick from. And from what I've heard, this guy had the nastiest tape in the, maybe ever. Mike Bayok said this was the nastiest tape he had ever seen, ever, out of a prospect. That's saying something. He's a former Division II lineman, and he might end up being another Ali Marpet for us. I think he's going to end up being the starter at right guard, and I'm very confident in his abilities. A former bouncer. A former bouncer. That's awesome. I love that. and I think he's going to just maul people. One person, a knock on his game was sometimes he just forgets about technique and he just starts mauling people, and that's a positive to me. I don't know what you're talking about in terms of negatives versus positives. But I think that he will compete for a starting job right away. Jason Light has even come out and said all the guys that we have selected up to this point, talking about Alex Kappa and up, they're going to compete for starting roles. And I'm very confident in saying that Alex Kappa has a very good chance to be our starting right guard, and I think he'll do really well. You're slotting him in next to Ryan Jensen and DeMar Dodson when he's healthy, and I think that's a very positive thing. You know, he's going to have two very solid veteran linemen next to him, so the pressure won't be on him as much. I really like what the Bucs have done with their offensive line. I think it's going to be one of the top improved units going along with the secondary for this next upcoming season. So for this move, I'm going to give it a B to a B+ range. I know you might be saying I'm grading these picks kind of high, but I'm very confident. You know, I'm very confident. And keep in mind, I don't think the Bucs are going to be winning the Super Bowl next season or anything like that, but I think they had a good draft. Moving on then to the 4th round, Jordan Whitehead, the safety, was selected. He was one of the guys I mocked the Buccaneers getting during this draft process. I didn't do a lot of mocks, but I did throw Jordan Whitehead into that. So if you want to see that, you know, you can go check that out. However, I will say this, the guy hits like a truck and he has pretty decent size. And people were saying, is he going to play free safety or is he going to play strong safety? I think he's going to play strong safety. The dude's just a pretty good guy, and at worst, if he isn't a starter, he'll be a pretty good backup and a very nice special teamer. One of his overwhelmingly positive traits was the fact that he's a beast on special teams. So I like this pick. I'll give it a B-. I'll give it a B-. I like the pick a lot. I do think that there were some guys there that you could have gotten, but all in all, I do like this pick, and I think he could grow into something later on, and he could even be something soon. Who knows? Next, however, is Justin Watson, the 5th round wide receiver that was taken. 6'3", 200-some pounds, runs a 4.4 as a white guy. That's insane. That's insane. Again, this is another sleeper pick, and I'll give it a B- as well, because I don't know if we should have taken a wide receiver in the 5th. Maybe we should have taken another edge rusher just to build up on that depth. However, I was very impressed when I saw that he ran a 4.4 and that his size and his weight, the guy could figure to be he has the build to be maybe a number 2, number 1 receiver down the line. And when you pair him with guys like Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, Chris Godwins, and Adam Humphries, we're really, really deep at wide receiver now. We've invested a lot into it. And I said, in the past couple of live streams we've been doing with Logan, and just overall, I said to myself, well, I want to invest some draft pick in a wide receiver because I feel the 5th and 6th wide receiver positions are a little bit weak for us, and we could have used some improvement. And oh boy, we got some improvement in a big way. I think he will be I think he'll be the 5th wide receiver at least. And I'm very confident in his abilities, and he should push Freddie Martino, Jesus Bobo Wilson, as well as a couple of other guys very far for roster spots, and I think he will be at least the 5th wide receiver on our depth chart. Moving on to our final pick, Jack Sitchie. I don't know if I'm saying that last name right. Somebody will have to help me in the comments section below, but we select him, middle linebacker, with the 6th round pick in the draft. Really interesting notes on this, guys. He hasn't played since mid-2016, and he was rumored to be a 3rd round pick. Had he had played that last year and a half, he was maybe going to end up being a 3rd round pick as high, ranging there had he played. So really, we might have gotten a really good pick here. Another steal, diamond in the rough. These last couple of guys were some diamond in the rough picks, and I'm going to mess around and I'm going to give this a B-, C+, I'll mess around and give it a B- as well. I do think he'll provide very well on special teams, and I do think that he could be a hidden gem if he does get back to form for his past self in 2016, I guess you should say. I think he can do it. He is coming off of a couple injuries, which sucks, but I am very confident in his abilities. Now, where will he fit on this team? I think he'll be a very decent special teamer as well as a maybe middle to outside linebacker, and I like that a lot. So I think he will be a very good pick. I do think that all these guys will make the roster, so I'm very confident in most of their abilities. But if I had to give the Bucs an overall draft grade, I'd probably give it a B+. I give it a B+ overall. I think that we very much improved in some picks that a lot of people were questioning. I very much like them. Vita Vea will be a phenomenal pick for us, in my opinion. I think the kid's got heart, and he's got very good amount of determination and ability, and I think he will be a solid defensive anchor with Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy was hyped about the pick, I'm just saying. I think Ronald Jones can be a 3-down back. I think MJ Stewart can be a good slot corner, and Carlton Davis can play on the outside. I think Alex Kappa will end up being our starting right guard to start the season. Jordan Whitehead, he could be a backup, potentially maybe a starter at strong safety, and if not that, a very good special teamer. And Justin Watson, I think he'll be a solid 5th receiver at least. I think he could move up to maybe 4th receiver and compete with Adam Humphries. And Jack Sitchie, I think he can be a solid backup linebacker as well as a special teams player. So B+ grade for me. Let me know what you guys think about thought about this draft down in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? You know, let me know down in the comment section below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification to always get notified when I upload or live stream. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. You know, that's the end of the draft. Thank you guys so much for following me for all of it, and as always, I will see you in the next video or live stream. But until then, goodbye for now, guys. See ya.